Spirited Away's lost ending, the scene they never aired. Many think the story ends after they exit the tunnel. The hair tie sparkles, and they drive away. But there was originally more after that. Here's what was planned. Chihiro notices her hair tie glowing. She finds it strange. On the way to their new house, they see movers already there. Her mom says, "They're already here." After arriving, a mover says, "Please don't be late next time." Chihiro walks around their new home. She finds a small green river with a short bridge. She looks down from the bridge. She seems to remember something. It's implied the river is Haku reborn. That's how the original ending was. But it won't air on TV. This rumor spread online. That's why it became famous. But here's the truth. It's half true. Parts were actually storyboarded from the movers onward, but Miyazaki tends to discard unused storyboards. They even had meetings about the scene, but no animation or voice work was done. Studio Ghibli had no time to spare. The movie was made under tight deadlines. Miyazaki first planned to include the move, but he later said, "This feels wrong." He decided months had passed instead, so the ending scenes were cut. And that's how it ended. Spirited Away, the hidden tragedy behind Chihiro's family. Chihiro says, "The building behind us is moaning." Her mother replies, "It's just the wind." She turns around but doesn't look at Chihiro. Chihiro keeps trying to get her mother's attention. She pulls her hand and talks to her. But her mother just says, "It feels nice here." Then she says, "We should have brought the sandwiches from the car." She talks to her husband instead. In this scene, Chihiro is being ignored. Her mother hardly looks at her face. She talks without making eye contact. The father talks to Chihiro while looking at her. There's a clear difference in how they treat her. Many viewers notice something's wrong with the mother. While crossing the rocky river, the mother clings to the father, saying, "Eek." The father says, "Careful." But when Chihiro crosses, the mother coldly says, "Be careful," and that's it. This is because, unconsciously, she blames Chihiro for the death of her son. Consciously, she cares about Chihiro. She knows it wasn't Chihiro's fault, but unconsciously, she avoids her. She won't look her in the eyes. Her tone is cold. Actually, Haku is Chihiro's older brother. The parents are hiding the fact that they lost their son. That's why the mother is cold toward Chihiro. Did Ashitaka and San sleep together? Miyazaki's silent answer. Ashitaka is being cared for by San. His wounds are slowly healing. After days of being bedridden, he finally wakes up. He's in a stone hut deep in the forest. As he looks around, he sees San sleeping beside him. She looks completely at ease. Her face is peaceful, and her bare legs are showing. When Toshio Suzuki saw the storyboard, he suddenly asked Miyazaki, "Wait, did they sleep together?" Normally, Miyazaki always answers clearly. He'll say, "No, that's not it," or "Yes, that's right." But this time, he refused to answer. Suzuki shared this story on the radio, sounding kind of amused. He said, "Miyazaki always gives clear answers, except when it comes to sex." But when he pushed further, Miyazaki finally said, "There's no need to show that in the movie. It's obvious, isn't it?" So yeah, that's what it is. Haku was actually Chihiro's dead brother. This is about Haku's identity in Spirited Away. "How do you know my name?" Chihiro asks Haku. He says, "I've known you since you were small." Why does he know her past? He forgot his name. But there's a reason. Haku is Chihiro's late brother. She didn't just lose a shusei, fell into a river. She nearly drowned. Her brother tried to save her. He got swept away and never came back. He gave his life to save her. That's how he became a river spirit. Chihiro doesn't remember this. "My mom told me," she says. She forgot it all. The shoe story is all she recalls. She doesn't remember the truth. Her mom never mentioned a brother, or how he died because of her. Only that she nearly drowned. So Chihiro forgot. But Haku remembers. "I've known you since you were small," he says. Haku never forgot her. Princess Mononoke was not the real title given by Hayao Miyazaki. The title is Princess Mononoke, right? But the real title was different. The original title was Ashitaka Seki. Seki is a term coined by Hayao Miyazaki. Think of it as meaning the same as legend. In other words, it means Ashitaka legend if the title is The Legend of Ashitaka. The audience sees the story as if Ashitaka is the main character. But the title has been changed. It became Princess Mononoke. It would be like changing the title of Nausicaa to Om, the Great Monster. The audience thinks, is this a story about exterminating Om? Who is going to exterminate him? I also think. But in the last part, Omu goes back to the forest and survives. Then you wonder, what will he fight next? I think. In other words, the impression of the story changes completely. That's how big the influence of the title is. The Legend of Ashitaka is easier to understand the story. But in fact, it was changed to Princess Mononoke. So Hayao Miyazaki deliberately put in scenes similar to Nausicaa. To tell the audience, this is what the movie is about. He added hints to avoid confusion. He was leading the audience through same theme as Nausicaa. But the scattered hints are intelligent and very advanced. So for us ordinary people, it's a little bit hard to understand. Cheetah isn't as innocent as she looks. This is a scene where they're cooking inside the Tiger Moth airship. Do you remember it? Cheetah ends up working in the kitchen on the Tiger Moth. Then, Dora's sons, who think Cheetah is cute, start showing up one by one. They all say things like, "Can I help with anything?" and begin helping in the kitchen. Eventually, not just the sons, but even the other crew members gather and start helping too. So, what is Cheetah thinking during all this? Hayao Miyazaki doesn't show her facial expression here. If this were a modern anime, it would definitely show the girl's face clearly. And she'd probably say something like, "Everyone offered to help, so I asked them to," with a cute smile or gesture. Or there would be a line implying she's just a naturally clueless character. That's the typical way modern anime handles these situations. But Miyazaki doesn't do that. He avoids both the teehee kind of cuteness and the airhead trope. Those are techniques Osamu Tezuka often used, so Miyazaki chooses not to use them. Because to him, those approaches are too ordinary, too expected. Instead, he deliberately shows only Cheetah's back. And that makes the audience think, this girl already understands that. She's popular among the guys on this ship. That's why she freely asks them to help out, one after another. Except for Pazu. Why? Because he's the one she actually has feelings for. She doesn't want to boss around the boy she likes. But the ones who like Hershey has no problem putting them to work. That's what this one simple scene is subtly showing. Actually, this movie, Spirited Away, is horror. The fantasy elements in the second half are very enjoyable. Then the horror starts. That's when Chihiro becomes Sin and starts working. And you may not realize it, but overall, it's a horror movie. The first half hour or so is. Until you meet Yubaba. Really, it is a 30-minute horror film. It's a sacred place. It's like a torii gate that was torn down. God's house is abandoned, and the family shows no respect. Hey, rumble in with a 4WD and go inside. What the hell is this? Like a Hollywood movie pet cemetery. A family moves on to cursed Indian land, unaware of the danger. It's a very similar group, so that's a very similar shot. Chihiro has transferred to a new school and is in a pre-transfer state. Before transferring, she is in a state of groping. It's like a god without a home. The stone shrine was torn down. A god without a home. It is in limbo. One can enter the world of a mystical god. This kind of horror is there are classics. It's the same kind of you have to have connections to get in. All three are in limbo. In fact, these parents are also. They are in the process of moving. In fact, this family is in a critical situation. The three are in a state of discord. It's easy to enter this world. You can enter this world. They made a mistake in God's land. They have entered.
岡田斗司夫の YouTube を見てくれてありがとうございます。ぜひぜひチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。ではではよろしく。